explain it. This amendment simply says none of the funds appropriated or otherwise made available by this act shall exceed the level of the concurrent budget resolution for fiscal year 2012. That's the entire amendment, quote, unquote. Mr. President, the point this amendment makes is a pretty simple but basic and important one. We don't have a concurrent budget resolution for fiscal year 2012. We're in the process of passing an appropriation bill with this bill, spending money without a budget, without a game plan, without a framework. And that's clearly putting the cart before the horse and clearly having things backwards in a dysfunctional process. Mr. President, every Louisiana family, every Louisiana small business, as families and businesses do in Minnesota, sit down and make a budget, and then they spend money under that budget. That's the rational, straightforward way to do things. Unfortunately, that's not what we're doing here in Congress and here in the Senate. Now, Mr. President, this simple, straightforward process is not only rational, it's not only commonsensical, it's also required by law. Under federal law, the Congress is mandated to pass a budget, to pass a concurrent budget resolution by April 15th of every year. Now, we're months beyond April 15th, several months and counting. And not only do we not have this required budget, this game plan, this framework, which we're supposed to be living by, but here on the Senate side, we haven't even made a meaningful effort to get there. The distinguished chairman of the Budget Committee has not made an effort in committee to come up with a Senate budget resolution. There's been no effort in committee, and so no Senate budget has been sent to the floor. And in fact, Mr. President, the same thing happened in the previous fiscal year. So we're now not just several months past this year's April 15th deadline, but we're over 800 days since the last time we had a budget resolution as required by federal law. 800 days, over 800 days and counting. Mr. President, I'm afraid this is exactly the sort of thing the American people shake their heads at. This is exactly the sort of thing they scratch their heads about, shake their heads at, and say, what is wrong in Washington? Every Louisiana family has a budget that they have to live within. Every Louisiana small business has a budget, and that's their framework, and they operate within that. And yet, Congress apparently doesn't get it, particularly the Senate doesn't get it under this majority leadership, and isn't even making an attempt to do what is not only a good, sound idea, but is required by federal law. So again, Mr. President, I just suggest that we put first things first. We have a budget, and then we only spend money, only pass appropriation bills pursuant to and consistent with that budget. And that's why, again, Mr. President, my amendment is very simple. Quote, none of the funds appropriated or otherwise made available by this act shall exceed the level of the concurrent budget resolution for fiscal year 2012, close quote. Mr. President, I urge us all to do the right thing. We'll have different ideas about a budget. We'll have different priorities. We'll have an important and a healthy debate. But we need to follow the law. We need to follow common sense. We need to have a budget and then only pass spending and appropriation bills under that budget and consistent with it.